Hey and welcome to my YouTube channel. I think summer has ended here in Sweden, so I thought I'd make a little video about our last camping trip, which I haven't talked about and it's a few weeks ago now. But yeah, I think it's a great topic to kind of say goodbye to Swedish summer and welcome the autumn. Today's video is sponsored by Lovevery. I will tell you a little bit more about them in a few seconds. But first I wanted to kind of reflect on the Swedish summer, which this year in 2023 was a little bit different, I would say, from last summer. Last summer was very hot. It was like a few weeks of proper summer. This year it was warm as well at times. I think we spent quite a bit of time at beaches, but then especially in August it was quite rainy. Not super cold, but you know, rain also doesn't invite you really to go outside and swim or spend time at the beaches. But then now in September I was very surprised. We had at least one super nice week, which normally in September I would say it's quite cool. Like the summer normally ends in September here in Sweden, but we had lovely 1-2 weeks where it was sunny and we spent time again at the beaches, so that was really cool. But yeah, I think it's now over. But let me talk about our last camping trip, our second camping trip actually here in Sweden this summer, and it was quite different than the first one, so it's definitely worth going through my thoughts on this to tell you a little bit what it is like to camp in Sweden. But before I go into more details, I quickly wanted to introduce you to Lovevery. They got in touch with me because I have kids and I discovered what amazing toys they have. They actually have a subscription system, and every toy or toy box, so it's different toys they send to you, is made for the age of your child. So I have a almost 5-year-old and a 1.5-year-old, and the products are made for babies, like newborns from 0 till 4. So I got a really cool box sent to me for my 18-month-old, 19, 20, 21-month-old, and the box was called Realist Play Kit. So I show you a little bit what that looked like, how Maeve, my youngest daughter, played with it. She really loved it. And what I really like with the brand and the toys is that all the products are made sustainably. You know, this natural, they are organic and natural materials they use to build those toys. I'm an absolute fan, and if you live in Sweden or you know Sweden a little bit, sustainability is a big part of it. So I thought it actually fits really into my life here in Sweden. With the sustainability, I love the idea of, you know, buying things which consider the environment, and the products of Lovevery are exactly that. But not only the sustainable part of the toys I really liked, I just liked the whole concept to have these subscriptions, and you get, based on the age of your child, the right kit for them to develop, you know, to practice their skills. A lot of thought goes into those toys. It takes a little bit the research out of, you know, parents like me, where you basically have to see what appropriate toys does my kid play with at that certain age. This is all taken out by just subscribing and getting the play kit based on your child's age. Yeah, I thought it's really cool, and Christmas is approaching faster than you think, so I've put a link in the description. You can check it out, see if it's anything for your kids, or if you're a grandparent, you know, you might want to think about a Christmas gift this year. Yeah, you can never start early, right? So the link is in the description, feel free to check it out. But now let's talk a little bit about camping in Sweden. So check out my first video about our first camping trip if you haven't seen it, to kind of compare it a little bit. But this was our second one, and it was, I think, beginning of August. In our first one we were not that lucky because it was partly raining, and on our second camping trip it was almost the same, I'm afraid. I was looking at the weather every day, but at the end you can't change it, you know, you can just prepare for it, and we did come prepared. But it was raining every now and then again, but we also had some really lovely days, sunny days, so it really reflects what the summer looked like this year in Sweden. It was like some really lovely sunny days, warm days, and then the rain came and, you know, clouds. And but luckily also the rain was mainly during the night. But yeah, this time we actually camped in a forest by the sea, so the scenery looked a little bit different. It looked really amazing, to be honest. Like, it was amazing to wake up there and just look over like a little rock, and there was the sea. Very, very stunning views. And the funny thing is, in our last camping trip, I noticed that there were a lot of Norwegians, and you will not believe what the nationality was there at the camping, which I kind of expected a little bit, and now it kind of fulfilled my expectations. 90% probably were Germans. Yes. So I kind of knew Germans love camping in Sweden, and I was maybe, waiting for where are all the Germans, and they were there at the camping site, which I didn't mention. It was in Oskarshamn, so it was a little bit further south of Stockholm, so a little bit closer to the German border, if you will. So Germans come and camp there in the south of Sweden, a little bit more than maybe the north. So the kids made friends immediately, and they made friends with German kids, but also with Swedish kids. It definitely also helped that my friend could speak Swedish, so we went with another family to camping and they could speak Swedish, and I felt that helped a little bit with the communication, you know. Although I'm sure they could speak English, they did a little bit of small talk with me, but were quite focused with my friend as a parent, because also, she could speak Swedish, and we made friends, you know, adult friends, mainly with Germans, to be honest, there as well. So it was a cool experience, and kids and adults made friends. Yeah, and for us as parents, it was the first experience where we let our older child loose a little bit more, so she could actually walk around a little bit by herself without us seeing her all the time. It felt a little bit weird at the beginning, but I feel like this is also more the Swedish way. I probably mentioned it in one of my videos where I said that the kids are running around here in our neighborhood, and they are as young as 5 years old, and I don't think that would be the case in like the UK, and I cannot imagine that this is happening in the US. So that's also quite new to me, you know. My kids are getting older, but everything I can say now went well. She was with her friends, the ones we camped together, so at least there was, you know, a few kids. When something happened, they could get an adult for help or something like that. But yeah, she could go around by herself a little bit, and I think she felt very grown up and very happy about that. There were a few negative things, but, you know, I feel like saying this now, I probably sound like a city girl, but what I was very surprised was in the sea there were so many jellyfish. I was quite shocked, you know, but obviously that's very natural. And I think they were not stingy, because my kids went into the water and we tried to, you know, keep the jellyfish a little bit away, but what can you do? And no one was harmed. So I guess it was like the category of jellyfish which actually don't cause any pain, which is good, but still it was a bit like scary. Then we had a wasp nest right next to our tents, and that was so annoying. And again, I sound like I'm probably from the city, but it really, like, they went, like, we had a barbecue the other day and they went for the meat. Like, I did not know that wasps love meat. It was crazy. And I also didn't tell anyone, or we didn't tell anyone, because we didn't know, you know, it was nature. We didn't want to destroy nature. But then, like, I think a day before we left, a neighbor basically told the camping site that there are wasp nests, and they killed all the wasps. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we had like one day with much less wasp, and that was better. Sorry to say that, but yeah, that was another experience we had at the camping site in the forest. And one thing which luckily it didn't happen to us, but it happened to our German neighbors who arrived. It was a family of 5 with 3 girls, and they went in the woods to pick some flowers, and then it happened that one of the girls got bitten by a snake. And I was quite shocked, you know. I mean, of course it can happen, but you just don't think about it because maybe we don't spend, you know, in nature all the time. We do live closer to the city. Maybe it is quite a difference. But the girl ended up to be in hospital. She had such a big arm. It was swollen. She was given the remedy, you know, but she had 3 doses, which is quite a bit. And she spent at least, I think, 3 days in hospital. So that was a bit scary because I don't know, like, if it happened to, you know, maybe a smaller child, how would she react to a viper? It was a viper, I think, and only later I read an article that actually there were more snakes than usual in Sweden. So yeah, that happened, and it was really unlucky for the family. I felt very sorry for them because it kind of ruined a little bit their holiday in Sweden. But they did go to another camping site on Gotland, so I hope they had a better experience there. But that happened, and this is something, yeah, I guess I have to be aware of, or when you go camping here in Sweden, you have to be aware of that as well. So yeah, that was a bit like the positives and the negatives, but I want to show you a little bit what it looked like because, you know, you can not imagine otherwise. I want to show you how beautiful it looked. We had overall a really good experience. We really liked it. The kids absolutely loved it. I mean, I feel they don't need much to really be happy. We were organized. We even went one day to Astrid Lindgren's World. And I think someone mentioned they saw me there, which is so weird. Such a small world. We had a really good trip, and I hope you will enjoy the little videos I made about our second camping trip. I'm sure we will come back to other camping sites next year. I'm not so sure about wild camping. Now I've even experienced a little bit the more nature camping. I think we will stick maybe to campsites first. But wild camping, if you stay tuned, I'm sure one day we will go wild camping as well. It would be cool to maybe have a babysitter just for one night and go wild camping, just my partner and me. That would be cool. So maybe we will do that, and we will try that next year. We will see. But thank you so much for watching, and enjoy the camping trip.